In science, we started off the year with very important jobs as student astronomers. We were asked to help solve a mystery of a missing piece of an artifact. To help us solve this mystery, we focused on the question, why do we see different stars at different times of year? We studied constellations and the different months they appear in. We acted out many different models to help us understand the movement of the Earth around the Sun. We now understand that we see different stars at different times of year because the Earth is orbiting around the Sun. The stars we see in the nighttime sky depend on the Earth's position in its orbit. For example, we see Orion every December. We celebrated solving the artifact mystery by visiting the Star Lab in the Nelson Gym. Now that we have completed our jobs as student astronomers, we are working for Good Foods Incorporated as food scientists. Our first task in our new job role was determining if a dye they use in most of their foods contained a harmful red dye. We used chromatography strips and water. Our tests showed that the dye did in fact contain a red dye. We are learning all about atoms, molecules, and substances. This knowledge will help us with our main job as food scientists. We have to help them come up with a good salad dressing recipe. We have tasted ingredients and tested their solubility. We continued learning all about the properties of matter by completing fun experiments and computer simulations to answer the question, what happens when two substances are mixed together? We have learned about the solubility of the molecules at the nanoscale. In the next few weeks, we will continue to explore how solids and liquids attract to and repel from other molecules. Our next unit will be on the Earth system, where we'll explore the effects of water shortages and create proposals to help alleviate the problems created by the shortages. In math, we began our year using place value concepts to count money. Some students used a place value chart, some grouped like money together, and others used multiplication and addition to find their totals. Students frequently work together using the RDW process to work word problems throughout each module. We have focused on multiplying and dividing in Module 1. Students made posters to show multiple strategies to multiply whole numbers. Some of our favorite ways are standard algorithm, area model, and distributive property. Extra Math is a fluency program that each student completes every morning. Students begin in 3-second addition, and once mastered, they'd move to subtraction, multiplication, and finally division. After all 3-second operations have been completed, students are moved to 2 seconds. After all operations of 2 seconds have been mastered, the students are finally moved to 1.5 seconds. Believe it or not, we have one student who has finished with all of the 1.5 seconds and several more that are very close. A grade will be taken at the end of the year on progress made throughout the year. We are currently working in Module 2, where students are learning to work with fractions. In ELA, we have been covering a variety of skills and texts. We began our year by learning about the art of reading. We read The Legend of Rock, Paper, Scissors with and without fluency and expression. We learned the difference of reading a book and reading a book. We ended our lesson with our own legendary rock, paper, scissors competition, with DAT earning the title of Ultimate Champion. We then moved into our Making of a Scientist unit. We read about a scientist named Richard Feynman and how he was inspired to become a scientist from an early age. We learned how to annotate text, locate main ideas, and make inferences. We also learned about the importance of observing the world around us. The fictional pairing to The Making of a Scientist is the story of the Templeton twins. The snarky narrator keeps us giggling and shaking our heads as he tells the tale of Abigail and John Templeton and their ridiculous dog Cassie. We have been practicing digging into the text by analyzing and drawing conclusions. We have also learned to determine the author's point of view and how changing the point of view can alter the way we look at a story. We just finished our Legend of Sleepy Hollow mini-unit. Each student became a member of the town of Sleepy Hollow. We used inferencing and figurative language skills, as well as read a non-fiction paired text to solve the mystery of the Headless Horseman. We ended the unit by making our story come to life by setting the mood, reading with the correct tone, speed, and accuracy. In language, we have been learning to write constructed response answers using the RACE method and how the use of figurative language can enhance our writing. We have enjoyed using programs such as Flocabulary, where we practice our vocabulary, read and respond to text, and even write our own raps. We review what we've learned in fun and interesting ways such as Plickers, Kahoot, and our favorite game, dogs versus chickens versus cows versus kitties. Last but not least, we are gaining a love of reading. AR is a big part of our day. 67 fifth graders met their AR goal this 9 weeks. We celebrated with our first AR party at the end of the 9 weeks. We will begin our unit on writing 5-paragraph essays next week. In social studies, we began our year learning about the characteristics that make up a civilization and what it means to be civilized. We viewed various sources to prove that the United States exemplifies all 9 characteristics, including economy, religion, government, social classes, and more. Students were then able to choose their favorite characteristic and create a presentation using the format of their choice to display their mastery of content. Next, we discussed that the indigenous cultures that were here long before us, like the Aztec, Maya, and Inca empires, also displayed these characteristics prior to European exploration. Although similar to the U.S., their culture differed when it came to technological advances in farming techniques and religious human sacrifices to their gods. We gathered information about the empires through gallery walks and observing sources on canvas. We recently finished Unit 1, where we learned about the first people of North America. These indigenous nomads crossed over the Bering Strait, which connected what is today Russia and Alaska. This took place during the Ice Age over 40,000 years ago. They headed southeast following their prey and eventually started settling throughout North America, Central America, and South America. Native American culture differed depending on the physical features of the region in which they settled. Students were assigned a specific region from North America and researched their geography, food, agriculture, architecture, and culture. They collaborated with members of their group and created PowerPoint presentations to present to their classmates, who then took notes on the information presented by their peers. We began the second 9 weeks with Unit 2, which focuses on the 15th century European explorers. One explorer, Christopher Columbus, was motivated to explore because of the scarcity, supply, and demand of spices from Ottoman-ruled Asia. He attempted to discover a new route to Asia through circumnavigation. However, he happened upon North America instead, along with the indigenous tribes that resided there. This new world prompted other explorers to set sail in hopes of finding gold and fame as well. This week, we created presentations on 8 other explorers and learned of their nation, discoveries, challenges, and motivations. In the coming weeks, we will begin learning about the European views of the indigenous people and how disagreements led to warfare between the two groups. We've had a lot of fun so far this year. We've been able to participate in dress-up days such as Dot Day, Pink Out Day, and Red Ribbon Week. We meet weekly with our DARE officer, Senior Corporal Clofus, where we learn about the dangers of drugs, effective communication, and ways to keep our body and minds healthy as we grow. We meet monthly with our kindergarten buddies. We engaged in a get-to-know-you activity where we learned information about our buddies' birthdays, favorite colors, and what they want to be when they grow up. In October, we helped them create an owl ornament. We enjoy seeing our buddies in the hall and getting to know them more and more each month. Our RTI classes have enhanced our knowledge of the solar system, the systems of the body, such as the digestive system, the respiratory system, and the circulatory systems. We have learned to create presentations using effective communication and create scripts to help our school learn more about our 3 B's. We have even learned about money and creating a budget by prioritizing needs and wants. Some of our 5th graders were able to join clubs this year, such as the Art Club, Student Council, and even the News Crew, where we present the news to our school each morning.